So the other day I got the question, Akil, have you done a podcast on is it more beneficial to take multiple or single profit targets? And well, if I didn't before, I have now. Hey guys, my name is Akil Stokes. Welcome back to the Trading Coach Podcast. Thank you as always for joining. If you guys are brand new to the podcast, don't worry. You do not have to start at episode 0 and go through in order, although I do recommend listening to episode 0. That way you find out a little bit about my background and my goals, my dreams, and my desires for this podcast. But think of this as being like an encyclopedia where if you have a topic that you have a question about, all you have to do is search Trading Coach Podcast, enter that topic, and something should come up asking those questions or answering those questions. I guess I should say. It's Thanksgiving when I'm recording this. Had a lot of food. I'm a little bit of the turkey hangover right now, but I wanted to cover this because I thought this was an interesting topic. And I'll read you the email from the trader. It says, "Hey Akil, I was trying to find a podcast where you talk about if it's beneficial to take partial profits or just let the trade play out. YouTube seems to be divided, and I want to know your opinion." And before we hop into it, just for you guys that are newer, partial profits versus kind of, I guess, one in, one out, as I call it, is the difference between taking your full position size out at a single profit location. So if you enter your full standard lot or just one lot, whatever it be, standard, mini, whatever you're trading, if you enter your full position at certain level, wherever your profit target is at, you're taking your entire position off, right? So you have 1 unit on, you take 1 unit out. Taking partial profit means that you would split your profit levels out, right? The levels in which you take targets at, you would split it up between multiple locations. So we tend to talk about it in, 2 target type of circumstances where a target 1 is here and a target 2 is there. Maybe it's a conservative target. Maybe it's an aggressive target. Maybe you're holding one on for a home run trade. The point is, instead of taking your full position off at a single location, when price hits that first location, you're taking a partial of that position off. It could be a quarter, it could be a third, it could be a half, it could be 2/3, whatever it is to you, that's up to you in your trading plan. Basically, you're taking your profits off at different locations. And apparently the internet seems to be divided, or YouTube specifically, this seems to be divided on this topic. And I'll tell you what, that doesn't surprise me. And the reason is because there's really no wrong or right answer. You'll find that with most things in trading, right? There's a give and a take to whatever we do, but there's no black or white, wrong or right answer in trading for most things. I say most things because in my opinion, stuff like, should I place a stop loss? That's a black or white answer. Or should I back test before trading a strategy? That's a black or white answer, right? I'm sure the internet won't agree with that. The internet doesn't agree with the world in general, doesn't agree with anything 100%. But in my opinion, there are some what I call non-negotiables in trading and in your trading business. But for the most part, and when it comes down to the specifics of your strategy, there is no you have to do it this way. There is no you have to do it that way. In general, there is no better way. And the reason for that is because each strategy is unique, right? Each strategy is kind of like our fingerprint as a trader. It's our DNA as a trader. Unless you're trading, say, a fully automated strategy and you're just, it's level 3, all you have to do is turn it on and it executes trades for you, it would be impossible for every trader out there to take the same trades, right? Even if me or you are trading the same exact strategy, right? Well, you may be trading it on a different time frame. You may be trading it on a different set of pairs. You may be trading it during a different time of the day. I may have a different entry filter or qualifier than you. You may be taking full targets off here. I may be taking partials off, right? There's so many moving pieces between strategies and techniques that, again, it really does become unique per the trader. And what that uniqueness does is it provides different results. Something that bothered me a lot during the beginning of my trading career when I actually cared about what people thought about me is when people would say, "Hey, Akil, what you're trading doesn't work." And I would be like, well, how the hell do you know it doesn't work, right? Have you back tested it the same exact way that I have? Do you have my eyes and you see the same exact setups? No. So Why wouldn't it work? Well, I heard this and I heard that. And it's like, well, if you haven't been in the trenches and done it, you cannot judge. And to this day, I should say, that's one of the reasons why I don't like judging people's strategy. I never like to say, hey, this doesn't work or that doesn't work. There are, again, non-negotiables in the process that I think you should be doing as a trader. But as far as the specifics, only you can answer the question of, does something work or does it not work? Or what's more profitable, doing this or doing that? So kind of with that bigger picture out the way, I want to dive into really 3 areas of the answer to this email. And one of them is going to be, and these are 3 things you need to consider before, when making a decision, is it going to be more beneficial to take single targets or multiple targets? Because at the end of the day, the easy one's going to be just crunching numbers, but there are other things we need to consider as well. One is from a psychological perspective, right? Are you comfortable taking said action, right? We'll give the example of taking a single profit target first, a 1 in, 1 out. Are you comfortable taking everything out and then watching the trade continue to move on without you and then doing the exact same thing again? And what I mean by that is, right, it's very easy to take profit in real time, right? We take profit, we're happy, we're excited. But what do most of us say when we look at a chart like a day later and the market has ran on hundreds of pips in the direction that we were in, but we're not included? Man, woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? I wish I would have stayed in that, right? And that leads to all type of psychological mistakes. So if you know you are going to drive yourself crazy by removing your position, removing yourself from being in the trade, only to watch the trade go further in your favor, and if you know that's going to upset you, and if you know that's going to cause more psychological mistakes down the line, you may want to put yourself in a position where you have some exposure to that larger move. And again, it doesn't have to be kind of a half and half. You can take 3/4 of your position, right? You can split your full position into quarters, right? You can take 3/4 out at your first target and leave a quarter in. And I'm telling you, just having that little bit of exposure, it's going to make you more money, yes, or make you more money on that particular instant. I don't know if it'll make you money overall, but in that particular instant, it's going to make you more money. But more importantly, it's going to give you this calmness where it's like, okay, at least I caught the move. At least the market didn't move without me. And that's going to be enough to really kind of keep those psychological demons, temptations intact, right? Now, again, you still have to work on your trading psychology because there will always be the person that says, oh, well, I took a quarter out at the secondary. I wish I took the whole thing out there, right? You're going to have to deal with that no matter what. That's, if you're looking for the perfect situation and perfect outcome in every trade, you've got bigger problems. But that is something to consider. Something else to consider is the exact opposite. So in the first example, we're talking about a trader who maybe took a conservative target and wished they left a little bit of a position on for the bigger one. Well, there's the exact opposite as well, right? If someone's shooting for the bigger target and they're doing a 1 in, 1 out at that bigger target, and they see that price reverses before hitting that bigger target at the would-be conservative level, that's going to bother them as well. Because again, woulda, coulda, shoulda made some money on this trade and I didn't get a chance to because I was shooting for the bigger target, and now you're upset and now you get into the habit of taking targets early and all that fun stuff. So one of the first things you need to consider is, from a psychological perspective, which can you handle? Are you comfortable handling situation A? Are you comfortable handling situation B? Can you deal with, because at some point in time, it's not going to work in our favor. Can you consistently deal with that and be okay with the decision that you made? Number 2 is going to be, can you actually manage the trade? I got another email from a trader talking about overnight trades and how to actively manage that and whatnot. Can you actively manage the trade, right? If you're going to be splitting your targets into partial positions, right, you have to manage that. I guess you don't have to, but you should be managing that. And what I mean is that you have to move your stop losses, actively trail your stop loss, at least get it to break even, and then you'll probably trail it a little bit more after the next target is hit. You also have to adjust your stop loss, because again, if you take a half position off, but you still have a full stop loss on, guess what's going to happen when that stop is triggered? you're going to get triggered the opposite direction, and you're not going to be happy about it. So you have to be able to move that stop, adjust that stop, and manage that trade. Now, a lot of this will also depend on, the duration and what you're trading on. Again, this is why it's going to be, really customizable per person, right? If you're someone that's trading on a 5-minute chart, well, you better be in front of your charts at all the time. If you're someone that's doing it on an hourly, you probably got to actively manage it pretty good. If you're someone that's trading on a daily chart, I'm assuming your targets are pretty far away and that the market's not going to, hit your target and move all the way back up against you before the next time you have to check the charts. Now, again, there are black swan events that happen in the market. There are high impact fundamental events that happen in the market. I would hope that one would be aware of them, at least the high impact news events. The black swan, what can you do about it, right? You probably got bigger problems if one of those hits. But you have to look at yourself. You got to look at your routine, and you have to ask yourself, am I actually in a position where I can manage this trade the right way? Because if I can't, right, it is better for me to do a one in, one out approach. This was a change that I made in my trading career, not purposeful. Actually, I made an adjustment. It was a low volatility year. I want to say 2012 or 2014. I think 2014 might have been it. There were 2 low volatility years I went through, but it was a low volatility year, and I made some adjustments to my trading plan just because we weren't getting the follow through that we typically did. And I went to a one in, one out approach for the majority of my trades instead of taking multiple targets. And I did it because it was a more profitable way. I went through my numbers, I audited myself, all that fun stuff, and I needed to kind of, keep the boat afloat and have a profitable year. But what I noticed by doing that for the last 6 months of that year was that it also brought a lot of ease to my trading, right? I was no longer hovering around my computer. I was no longer hovering around my phone, waiting for dings and dongs to go off, telling me that positions were hit so I can run back and adjust them. I actually had freedom in my day, right? I had free to, I remember this story where I was managing stuff and I was at the park with my kid and I'm supposed to be playing with him, but I'm kind of pushing him halfway on the swing, but halfway paying attention to my phone because his trade's about to trigger and I got to manage it. And I just remember him, he didn't understand what I was doing. I think he was 2 at the time. Didn't understand what I was doing, but I was supposed to be spending time with my kid and I wasn't. I was doing work. And again, the whole point of me becoming a trader was that I wasn't going to be tied to quote unquote work and I could spend time with my family. When I started doing the one in, one out, it was simple. There was nothing to manage, right? Either my stop loss was hit or my target was hit, and I'd deal with it when I got back, but there was nothing else that needed to be done. So I can actually fully focus my energy on what I was supposed to be doing away from the charts, which was a big relief for me. So you got to ask yourself, what is the best situation for you? And also, what is doable? Now, the last one is the simple one, and this is the one that's going to be most important, I guess. Is it actually more profitable, right? Question mark. Do the math, right? We should be back testing. We should have a collection of thousands and thousands of data points, right? Referring to our system. This is a very simple solution. If you've back tested testing multiple targets, and there's all types of ways you can do that, but let's just keep it simple. Let's say you test it taking a single target, and then you test it taking a target 1 and let's say a more aggressive target 2, right? Compare those results, right? Do an A/B test, put a little line at the top, put a little line down the middle so it looks like a T, put your results for method 1 on the left, put your results on method 2 on the right, take a look at the results. And at the end of the day, what is more profitable? Right? Now, again, profit isn't the only thing you need to think about, as I mentioned before, but, you never want to do something that is drastically less profitable, in my opinion, unless, there's no other options. So at the end of the day, look at the numbers. The numbers will tell you based on your trading strategy, based on your system, is it more beneficial to take everything off at one or split it up? And I can tell you this from personal experience, right? There is this desire to shoot for partial targets mainly because of two reasons. One, it makes us feel like we're doing more as a trader. Oh my God, I get to move my stop. I get to adjust this. I get to take some off. I get to let it run, right? All the funky and fancy stuff you see on the internet, that is one. I know it sounds ridiculous, but our ego gives us this desire to look like traders, right? This is coming from the guy who used to get the Wall Street Journal sent to my house every day. Never read it, but that's what you're supposed to do as a trader. So I did it, right? Number two, right? One is that desire to look like a trader. Number two is because we remember the big win more, right? We can miss out on it 5 times, but if we hit it on the 6th time and we get that big win where you're printing that big number in your spreadsheet, that feels good and we remember it, right? We remember it, and we judge it as something that is better. Now, in reality, if you missed it 6 times or 5 times before that, and you would have had your full position off at a single target 1 instead of taking half, right? You probably would have been a lot more profitable taking everything off at target 1 on the simple, smaller, boring profit target than you are, only collecting half, break even, collecting half, break even, collecting half, break even, collecting half, break even, collecting 1, and collecting 2, right? You're going to be more profitable doing it the first way, but in our mind, we will see the second way as being bigger because we have that one big number that stands out for the rest. So again, you don't want to be fooled by that. And an easy way not to be fooled by that is to look at your back testing results. So 3 tips on deciding whether to shoot for 1 in, 1 out full positions at a single location, or looking if it's more beneficial to split your profit positions up and take partials out at different locations. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you want more education, head over to www.tier1trading.com. I've been a trading coach there since 2017. I did 5 years at another place and then decided to do our own thing. That way we can do it our way. And it worked out pretty well. Forbes magazine had us featured as one of the leading innovators in trading education because of the approach that we took. And now you're seeing a lot of people take the same approach as well, which is awesome. So if you want to learn how to trade, head over to www.tier1trading.com. I recommend signing up for that 14-day risk-free trial membership. No auto bill, no sneaky sales stuff. Just get on the platform and enjoy.